World War II, a conflict of unprecedented scale and devastation, left an indelible mark on human history. From 1939 to 1945, nations clashed in a global struggle that claimed millions of lives and reshaped the geopolitical landscape. The echoes of this conflict continue to resonate today, reminding us of the fragility of peace and the importance of understanding the events that led to such widespread destruction. By examining the causes, consequences, and key turning points of World War II, we gain valuable insights into the complexities of international relations and the enduring human cost of conflict. The sheer magnitude of World War II is difficult to comprehend. Over 60 countries spanning multiple continents were drawn into the conflict. Millions of soldiers and civilians perished, leaving countless families shattered and nations scarred. The war's impact extended far beyond the battlefield, transforming economies, societies, and the very fabric of international relations. Understanding the significance of World War II requires a multifaceted approach, one that considers the political, social, economic, and technological factors that converged to create such a devastating global conflict. The legacy of World War II continues to shape our world today. The conflict led to the formation of the United Nations, a global organization dedicated to preventing future wars and promoting international cooperation. It also ushered in the atomic age, forever altering the nature of warfare and raising profound ethical questions about the use of such destructive power. The lessons learned from World War II, both positive and negative, serve as a stark reminder of the importance of diplomacy, the dangers of unchecked aggression, and the enduring human spirit in the face of adversity. By studying World War II, we honor the sacrifices of those who fought and died in this global conflict. We also gain a deeper understanding of the forces that can lead to such widespread destruction, providing valuable insights into conflict resolution and the pursuit of lasting peace in our own time. The history of World War II is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, but it also serves as a cautionary tale, urging us to work tirelessly to prevent such tragedies from occurring again. The roots of World War II can be traced back to the aftermath of World War I and the Treaty of Versailles, which imposed harsh penalties on Germany. The treaty, signed in 1919, held Germany responsible for the war and imposed crippling reparations payments. These reparations, coupled with territorial losses and restrictions on Germany's military, created widespread resentment and economic hardship within the country. The Treaty of Versailles, while intended to prevent future wars, inadvertently sowed the seeds of discontent that would contribute to the rise of extremism and the outbreak of another global conflict. The economic turmoil that gripped Germany in the 1920s and 30s, exacerbated by the Great Depression, created a fertile ground for the rise of extremist ideologies, particularly fascism. The Nazi Party, led by Adolf Hitler, exploited the prevailing sense of grievance and economic hardship, promising to restore Germany to its former glory. Hitler's message of nationalism, militarism, and anti-Semitism resonated with a population desperate for change and a return to stability. The Nazi Party's rise to power in 1933 marked a turning point in European history, setting the stage for the horrors that would follow. The rise of fascism was not limited to Germany. In Italy, Benito Mussolini and his National Fascist Party came to power in 1922, promising to restore order and revive the country's former imperial grandeur. Mussolini's regime, characterized by authoritarianism, nationalism, and a disdain for democracy, mirrored many of the characteristics of the Nazi regime in Germany. The emergence of these fascist regimes, fueled by economic instability, social unrest, and a rejection of liberal democratic values, posed a significant threat to the fragile peace that had followed World War I. The failure of the international community to address the underlying causes of instability and the rise of extremist ideologies in the 1920s and 30s proved to be a fatal mistake. The League of Nations, established in the aftermath of World War I to prevent future conflicts, proved ineffective in curbing the ambitions of aggressive powers like Germany, Italy, and Japan. Appeasement policies adopted by Britain and France in a desperate attempt to avoid another war only emboldened Hitler and allowed him to expand his territory unchecked. By the late 1930s, the stage was set for another global conflict, one that would prove even more devastating than the one that had preceded it. The outbreak of World War II highlighted the shortcomings of collective security in the face of determined aggression. The League of Nations, created in the aftermath of World War I with the noble goal of preventing future wars, proved woefully ill-equipped to deal with the challenges posed by the rise of fascist powers in Europe and Asia. The League's structure, which relied on consensus among its members, made it difficult to take decisive action against aggressors. Moreover, the League lacked a standing military force, relying instead on member states to contribute troops in the event of a conflict. This reliance on the goodwill of individual nations proved to be a fatal flaw, as countries were often reluctant to commit their own forces to defend the interests of others. The failure of the League of Nations to prevent the Second World War can be attributed to a number of factors. One key factor was the reluctance of major powers, particularly Britain and France, to confront aggressors early on. Haunted by the horrors of World War I, these nations adopted a policy of appeasement, hoping to avoid another devastating conflict by making concessions to Hitler. This policy, however, only emboldened the Nazi dictator, who interpreted it as a sign of weakness and continued his aggressive expansionist policies. The appeasement of Hitler at Munich in 1938, where Britain and France allowed Germany to annex the Sudetenland region of Czechoslovakia, is a prime example of the dangers of this approach. Another factor contributing to the League's failure was the lack of unity among its members. The League was plagued by divisions between the major powers, each pursuing their own national interests. The Soviet Union, initially excluded from the League and deeply suspicious of the Western powers, signed a non-aggression pact with Nazi Germany in 1939, further undermining the League's credibility. This pact, known as the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact, shocked the world and paved the way for Hitler's invasion of Poland, which marked the beginning of World War II. The League of Nations, despite its noble intentions, ultimately failed to prevent the outbreak of another catastrophic global conflict. Its inability to enforce its decisions, coupled with the appeasement policies of major powers and the lack of unity among its members, allowed aggressors to run rampant. The lessons learned from the League's failures would prove invaluable in the establishment of the United Nations after World War II, an organization designed with greater powers and a more robust mandate to maintain international peace and security. The collapse of peace in 1939 serves as a stark reminder of the importance of international cooperation, the dangers of unchecked aggression, and the need for a strong and effective system of collective security to prevent future conflicts. World War II witnessed an unprecedented escalation in the development and deployment of military technology, ushering in a new era of warfare characterized by increased firepower, mobility, and destructive potential. The conflict served as a testing ground for new weapon systems and tactical innovations, transforming the battlefield and forever altering the nature of warfare. From the skies above to the seas below, technological advancements played a pivotal role in shaping the course of the war and influencing its outcome. One of the most significant technological developments of World War II was the rise of air power. The conflict saw the widespread use of aircraft for reconnaissance, bombing raids, and aerial combat, revolutionizing warfare and fundamentally altering the relationship between offense and defense. The Battle of Britain, fought in the skies over England in 1940, demonstrated the strategic importance of air superiority, as the Royal Air Force successfully repelled a determined German Luftwaffe offensive. The development of long-range bombers such as the American B-17 Flying Fortress and the British Avro Lancaster enabled strategic bombing campaigns against enemy industrial centers and infrastructure, significantly impacting the war effort. Tanks, first deployed on a large scale during World War I, played a crucial role in World War II, transforming land warfare and enabling rapid advances across vast distances. The German Blitzkrieg, or lightning war, tactic relied heavily on the coordinated use of tanks, mechanized infantry, and air power to overwhelm enemy defenses and achieve swift victories. The Soviet Union, after suffering initial setbacks against the German invasion, emerged as a major tank-producing nation, fielding massive armored formations that played a key role in turning the tide of the war on the Eastern Front. The development of more powerful tank guns, improved armor protection, and innovative tactical doctrines further enhanced the effectiveness of armored warfare throughout the conflict.